What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys are on a fantastic day today. And today we have the March 2021 Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport update for you guys. I really hope you guys are excited for today's video. As per usual, we have another awesome Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport update in store today. I recently visited Dallas, so I have a lot more knowledge about what's going on during current times. On top of that, we also have some very cool elements to go over in this airport update for the airlines' March schedule and all that fun stuff. So, like I said, I hope you guys are excited, and we will begin. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'll talk about it more in a couple moments, but today we're going to be in a reverse ops. Typically, I never run my model airport in the reverse ops because it looks really different, but I thought for different, you know what, why not? And they don't get many north winds anyway, so it doesn't happen too often. So I thought, you know what, why don't we do it for different? So anyways, enough rambling, but we will begin with this American Airlines Boeing 737-800 in the Chrome Heritage delivery. This guy's currently pulling off runway 36 right. He just is arriving in from Boston or MassJets Airport, and he's going to be taking it down to Fort Myers after that. Next up, we have this American Airlines Airbus A321 with fence tips. This guy's currently arriving in from Austin, and he's going to be taking it over to Tampa. Next in line, we have this American Airlines Airbus A321 in the stand-up to cancer livery. This guy's currently arriving in from Denver International Airport, and he's going to be taking it over to Fort Lauderdale. This FedEx Express McDonnell MD-10-30F is currently arriving in from Memphis International Airport, and he's taking it over to their ramp on the northeast side of the field. Next up, we have this American Airlines 787-8. He is currently taking it out to Philadelphia, and he'll come back from Philadelphia in a few hours. And we will do one more aircraft before we start with the concourses. Right here we have an American Airlines Boeing 737-800. This guy is currently arriving in from West Palm Beach, and he'll be heading out to Chicago O'Hare. Okay, for different, just like we did with the Phoenix update, why don't we do this for the Dallas update too? We will start in a different position. We usually always start with Concourse E, but I thought for different it would be cool to start with Concourse A, and we'll literally work our way alphabetically throughout the airport. So let's start here at the tip of Concourse A. Right over there, we have an American Airlines Airbus A321 with fence tips as well. This guy is currently arriving in from Los Angeles, and he'll be taking it up to Chicago O'Hare as well. Next up, we have an American Airlines Airbus A319 in the PSA livery. This guy is currently arriving in from Kansas City, and he'll be taking it over to Cincinnati today. On the top right, we have an American Airlines Boeing 737-800. This guy's currently arriving in from San Antonio, and he'll be taking it over to New York LaGuardia. And then on the bottom right there, we have an American Airlines Airbus A319 with the fence tips. This guy's going to be coming in from Madison, Wisconsin, and he'll be taking it over to Spokane, Washington. Next up, we have an American Airlines Boeing 737-800 in the Astrojet paint scheme right there on the top. This guy's currently arriving in from Las Vegas, and he'll be taking it over to San Francisco. And then next up on the bottom, we have an American Airlines Airbus A319-100 with sharklets, of course. This guy is currently arriving in from Eagle County Regional Airport, and he's going to be taking it over to Houston Intercontinental, which they've been flying a ton of 319S's on that flight. All right, let's begin with Concourse B. We do have some significant changes, especially on the south side, but we'll start over here with the north side. All right, so right here on the top, we have an American Eagle Embraer J-145. This guy is currently arriving in from Loudon, and we'll say that he's taking it over to Amarillo. And then currently pushing back, we have an American Eagle Bombardier Acer J-700. All of them obviously are operating on SkyWest. That was an Envoy flight on top. I won't say all the subsidiaries, not to bore you guys, but I'll just say anything that's significant. Anyways, this is a SkyWest 700 right here. This guy's currently arriving in from Bloomington, and he'll be taking it over to let's go with Shreveport, Louisiana for him. On top of your screen, we have another Envoy 145. This guy's currently loading up for Grand Island, and he arrived in from Keelan. In the middle, we have another SkyWest Series J700. I may just say the subsidiary instead of just American Eagle every time, so let me know if you guys would rather hear the subsidiary that operates the flight rather than the American Eagle. Just let me know in the comments, and we can do whatever. Anyways, this flight is American Eagle Series J700 operated by SkyWest. This guy's arriving in from South Bend, and he'll take it over to Baton Rouge today. And then we have another Envoy 175. This guy's currently loading up with service out to Jackson, and he arrived in from Memphis, Tennessee. And right here we have another American Eagle operated by SkyWest CRJ700. This guy is currently arriving in from Roswell, New Mexico, and he'll take it over to, let's go with Bismarck's, I believe that's North Dakota if I'm correct. North or South Dakota for sure. So you guys were probably wondering where all the 175s were. Well, here are all the 175s. I did not know this was probably my bad for not checking gates often enough. But I did not know that the whole south side of Concourse B at some point between the pandemic and now was changed all back into regional flights. I only saw 175s parking on the south side. Just a whole plethora. There was dozens of them. I'm assuming mainline demand is probably just not there right now for the B Concourse to be needed for the mainline flights. So I'm assuming they've just went back to the 175. Maybe a temporary deal, maybe permanent, we'll see. But anyways, we do have a variety of Envoy 175s down here. We'll start with that bottom one. He's currently pushing back for, let's go with Bennetville for him. And he arrived in from Little Rock earlier. And then we have 3 up there. Let's get a better view of that. So here are 3 American Eagle Embraer J-175s on the behalf of Envoy Air. We'll start with that first one. He just arrived in from Omaha, and he'll head out to Billings. Next up, we have another one, obviously. This guy's currently arriving in from Springfield, Missouri, and he'll take it over to El Paso. And then that third one, we'll say that's coming in from, let's go with Wichita for him. They've been flying that a lot. And we'll send him over to, this guy will be taking it down to, or over to Raleigh, Durham. But yeah, the B Concourse still looking good. Still that 47 gate facility. I did get to see their little extension piece on the far northwest side, if you will. It was really, really nice. That baby was built probably about 5 years ago now. It was a really nice facility, so that was awesome. We'll cover that more in the DFW layover vlogs coming very soon. But anyways, let's take it back over to Concourse A. We'll start with that next 737-800 right there. This guy's currently arriving in from Nashville, Tennessee, and he'll take it over to Detroit, Michigan. Next up, we have an Airbus A319 right there in the middle. This guy's currently arriving in from, let's go with Columbus, Ohio, and he'll take it over to Columbia, South Carolina. And then over there at that last gate over there in the frame, we have an American A320. LUS with IAE engines. Not many of these coming in. They're still pretty consistently coming in from Reagan, I think, so we'll say he's coming in from Reagan. I just want to clarify, if I do get some minor things wrong, I apologize. Dallas-Fort Worth is a huge airport to cover, obviously, and it's very difficult to keep up with all the aircraft that are flying wet routes. When you're doing a top 25 busiest airports, it's going to be very difficult to keep in line with hundreds of cities. So I very much apologize if I have some minor flaws, but for the most part, it's a very adequate and pretty accurate representation of the real life Dallas-Fort Worth. So like I said, I apologize if I have some minor things wrong. I'll try my absolute best to get the absolute best information I can to you guys, but it's pretty accurate from my knowledge. Definitely a really nice 3-in-1 shot right there. We'll start with that TWA 737-800 currently pushing back. This guy's currently taking it over to Indianapolis, and he arrived in from, let's go with Minneapolis, St. Paul. That's probably more LUSs, but why not? On top right there, we have an American Airlines Boeing 787-9. I'm not sure when this happened, but there was limited Los Angeles 789s. There are 2 daily right now, so that's awesome. So we'll say that he's coming in from Los Angeles, and he'll be taking it back over to Los Angeles. 789 domestically is just that Los Angeles flight, I believe. Miami probably sneaks in there every now and then, but Miami's mainly 222s and 78s and all the narrow bodies. So that's awesome. And then on the top side right there, that is our Delta Airlines Airbus A319. They've been sending quite a few of these. We'll say this one's coming in from Minneapolis, St. Paul, as that's the most common destination, and he'll be taking it over to Minneapolis, St. Paul in a little bit. So let's take it over to the Seacon, and let's take it over there and do a little bit of that. All right, so here is the north side of the Sea Concourse. Let's begin with that American Airlines Boeing 737-800 in the One World livery. That is probably one of my favorite models in my collection, even despite the mold. Like I've said multiple times in the past, delivery most certainly makes up for that mediocre mold. This guy is currently riding in from Hayden Airport or TPK Avigeeks Airport, and he's going to be taking it over. I think me and Aviation 18 have had a little bit of confusion of what aircraft we want to use on the flight. He did not mention one in the last update, so I think we're just a little confused on that. But since it's typically been on the One World, we will do the One World for this update, and hopefully we can get a little clarification on that at some point. So let's say he's taking it over to Washington Reagan National Airport or Aviation 18's airport. Next up at the gate that I left out of, it was C7 on my Phoenix flight. We have an American Airlines Airbus A321 LUS with fence tips. Now, we left out C7. I will just do one of the flights because I was technically on 4 flights and I don't want to annoy you guys with all 4 of them. So I'll just do one. So we'll say this guy is currently arriving in from Phoenix, and then he'll be turning around with me on board back up to Phoenix. Which was really, really cool. Henderson Aviation was also on this flight. We'll talk about that more in Tripport, but it was so awesome to get to meet you. And if you're watching this, buddy, massive shout out goes to you. Next up, we have an American Airlines Airbus A319 with the fence tips once again. These are filled at Dallas. There's quite a few of them. We'll say this one's currently arriving in from San Jose, was the one that was arriving in for on my flight, and he's going to be taking it up to Tulsa with me on board. We left out of, I want to say A20, I think A20. A24 maybe. I think it was A24. They moved the gate around like 5 times because there was a ground stop and all kinds of stuff. Don't want to represent that because that would just make the airport look a little quieter. So we're just going to pretend it's a normal day. And I'll have a normal situation coming up, especially on this 3-6 takeoff situation. Pushing back, we have an American Airlines Boeing 737-800. This guy is currently arriving in from Washington Dulles, and he'll take it over to Atlanta. And then on the top side right there, we have an American Airlines Boeing 777-200ER. Domestically, these are mainly flying the Hawaii flights right now, and then there's also Miami. That's pretty much what they're doing. So, and then Cancun as well, but that's international technically. So this guy is currently arriving in from Kahului, and he'll be taking it over to Kona. So some very cool flights for triple right there. Lots of these have been moving around. I think one came in from Roswell the other day to Dallas, and then one's coming in to Tulsa from Roswell. So really good to see that those are coming back out of storage and all that good stuff. So really glad to see that. All right, we'll begin on the top side with that FedEx Express Boeing 757-200. Sorry about the bad frame. This guy's currently arriving in from Newark, and he'll take it over to Greensboro. Then we have a variety of aircraft. Right there we have an American Airlines Airbus A321neo. This guy's currently arriving in from Phoenix Sky Harbor. I was on board one of those flights as well, and he'll be taking it over to Los Angeles. You guys may only notice that is the only neo at the gates. During the March schedule, the only flights, I think there's 3 daily Phoenix and a daily Los Angeles, and that's it. They've significantly reduced operation of the neo out of Dallas. I'm not sure if they're doing, I think there was quite a few at Phoenix, so that may be the reason, but I believe they have 30 of these delivered now, so I'm not sure exactly what's up with that, but that's kind of where we're at on that. Next up, we have an American Airlines A321 with sharklets. I parked right next to one, so I thought I would put it there. It would be cool when we landed. This guy is currently loading up for Orlando MCO. I think that's where it was going. I'm pretty sure it was 163. We parked next to that aircraft twice. I saw it twice, but 2 of my flights were right next to it. All of this will go over in the trip reports and all that good stuff, so I hope you guys are excited for that. They were awesome. Dallas is thriving. And he's going to be heading out to, let's go with Philadelphia. But yeah, Dallas was loaded. There was quite a few passengers, which was really awesome. In the morning, especially, I analyzed that there was a lot of people during the banks, which obviously is when the flights come in, and that's when you want passengers to be there. It was more quiet non-bank times for American, which is obviously to be expected. But I think most of these flights were going out relatively full, which is awesome. Currently pushing back, we have another American Airlines A319 with defense tips. This guy, we're going to say, is coming in from, I know they have Savannah. I want to say it was a fence tip, but there may have been a sharklet in there. So we'll say Savannah. And he'll take it over to Pensacola, which is Pensacola, Albuquerque, a couple of those cities got some 319s back, which is awesome. Right there we have the American Airlines 737-800 in the AirCal livery. We'll say this guy's currently coming in from, I have quite a few 737 routes. Ontario for this guy, and he'll take it up to, actually, sorry. How about Kalispell, Montana? That should be a 737 still. And there's one more, American 737-800. That's in our normal livery. Let me make sure I'm not missing any subscriber routes. We should be good. Speaking of that, if you would like a subscriber route or submit a local fan picture, there will be a few later in the update. Please submit it in the description down below with the links. I noticed there was a couple more people that put, one person put that they don't even have an airport update. They just put, I don't have one on the link section. I'm going to explain this one more time because I feel like it probably needs to be validated. But subscriber route, it's how it works is I send an aircraft up to your airport that you have mutual with me, and you send an aircraft back to my airport in one of your videos. That's how subscriber route works. Explained it very in depth in the. It's explained on the Google form. I literally put a link on how it works on the Google form, a video link. So please check that out if you're confused, rather than say. I don't have an airport. That's not what the purpose of subscriber route is. So anyway, we'll say that 737 will be taking it out to, let's go Baltimore for him. Alrighty, let's get it rocking here with the D Concourse. Right here we have an American Airlines Boeing 777-200ER. I believe they're running 2 daily to Cancun right now. So we'll say that he's heading out to Cancun. As for passenger, I believe the Seoul flight is still there for the passenger. Actually, no, Paris for sure is, so we'll just say he's coming in flight 49 from Paris. Next up, we have an American Airlines Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. As of for international flights, these have been pretty gosh darn quiet. We'll say he's coming in on all cargo flight from Amsterdam, and honestly, recall any 788 actual passenger routes off the top of my head. We'll just say for this one that he'll take it over to, I think one comes in from Rome on a cargo flight, so we'll say that he's going out to Rome. Next up, we have an American Airlines 787-9. On the other hand, there are still quite a few of these doing international flights. We'll say that he's coming in from Buenos Aires as flight 996. That one's been consistent for a while now. And we'll say he's heading out to Frankfurt. I'll say the outbound's probably flight 70, but the inbound's 71. So we'll say it's probably flight 70. So that's awesome. Next up, we have this American Airlines Boeing 777-300ER. This guy is currently arriving in from London Heathrow on the cargo flight. Really cool. When I was on vacation in Branson, it was a nice day, and I got to see the cargo flight fly right over my head. What's even more ironic was the registration was November 720 Alpha November, which is this exact model right here, the third release American 777-300ER. So I thought that was a really, really neat occurrence right there that I got to see that. He's also going to be heading back out to London on the passenger flight. However, we do have a new subscriber route. I want to say this is my first legit international one, which is very cool. He's going to be heading out to London Heathrow or Robinson's Aviation's airport. He has a really good collection. I'd highly recommend checking out his channel and all these guys. I'm going to try my best to get especially with summer coming up, to try to watch all your guys' videos. I know I'm slacking real bad, and I apologize. I'm going to try my absolute best to get to watching all those, so I apologize. But yeah, really excited to see them. You guys have some awesome aprons and stuff. Like MassJet's had an awesome apron, and all you guys are doing an excellent job on your airports. They're looking really good, so keep it up, guys. You guys are doing awesome. Alrighty, next in line, we have the two international carriers at the D concourse we have right now. At the front gate, we have the British Airways Boeing 787-10. This guy's currently arriving in from London Heathrow as BA193. And heading back out, I think it's 192 back and maybe 194. They've been mainly operating the 789 on this flight. There was a week there that they operated like 4 or 5 787s. It's unfortunate that I don't have a 789, but hopefully NG will come back around and maybe do another one, or maybe GJ. I would settle for a GJ at this point. We just really need a 789, but it'll change in a month anyway, so I don't know what's more inconsistent, NG's schedule or BA's heavy what they send to airports. It's crazy. And then next up, we have a really, really exciting Emirates return back to Dallas on passenger flights earlier this month. Very, very excited. They came back on a really nice day. They are mainly operating the very interesting because I don't think they typically use it outside of shorter flights around the UAE. They're sending the 777-200LR. Very interesting. Normally scheduled. However, as of recording today, what is today? March 23rd. The flight today was upgraded, if you will, back up to the normal, typically what we get, the 777-300ER. So theoretically, it does work. So there's our Emirates Boeing 777-300ER, currently arriving in from Dubai. He'll be taking it back out there to Dubai. Really, really cool. Personally, as for a model, I did see one in 2014, so really, really special. I need to figure out what the tail number that guy was. I would like to get a 200 LR. I would really like that old release. That one obviously has the really nice mold. The new one isn't bad. They did one, like, I want to say they may have done 2 in that new mold, but I know for sure, or at least 1 with that 2018 AS recently got it. So I would absolutely love to get one of the triple twos, LRs, especially one of the older ones if the opportunity arises, but I suspect that they'll probably do mainly the 333 long term. But here during this the COVID season, they may do the 222. So we'll see. They're still flying some cargo flights to Copenhagen, I believe. So interesting sequence right there. So we'll take it over to the E-Concourse, and then we'll look at all of the other flights that we have taxiing out, and then that very interesting takeoff sequence. Alrighty, so here is the north side of the E-Concourse. It was really cool to come by here. There was a lot of United 175s when I was by, and quite a few Spirits. And then the big headline, there was like literally both times around evening and morning, 5 A220-100s. They're everywhere at Dallas, which is awesome. All right, so let's start with that United Embraer ERJ-175 on the bottom. That is an express jet model. I did double check from the Tulsa update. Oh, Tulsa update's coming out, and I said I thought it was, or no, what update was that? No, Reno, I said I thought it was an express jet model, and it is. But he's going to be operating for SkyWest today. How he does in real life with that actual tail number now, I think it is SkyWest or Republic for sure. I think SkyWest. Anyway, sorry. This guy is currently arriving in from Houston Intercontinental, and he'll take it over to San Francisco. Next up, we have a natural SkyWest model in old livery right there for United Express. This guy's currently arriving in from Washington Dulles, and he'll take it over to, let's go with Chicago. And then next up, we have United Airlines Airbus A320. He'll be running a straight Denver turn. I did see a couple of mainlines in the morning. I saw an old livery 319 and 320, so that was awesome. I should have represented it. I forgot to do it, but American is, for some reason, E2, which is the far corner gate. They had an A319 over there. I got no clue what's going on with that. Very, very interesting for sure. JetBridge was attached and all that good stuff, so that was crazy. All right, in the middle, up middle, I guess, if you will, we have a JetBlue Embraer ERJ-190 with the Barcode Tail. That's Bluetopia, I think is the model, maybe, name of it. They're sending a lot of 190s. He's currently arriving in from Boston. He'll take it over to New York John F. Kennedy. And then on top, we have the Alaska Boeing 737-900ER in the 100-year-strong Boeing livery. This guy is currently loading up passengers, nonstop service out to Seattle after arriving in from Portland. Hopefully, NG will do some 900s. I know they have done quite a few 800s, so 900s definitely seem likely, which is exciting. Yesterday, Airliners posted that they have some new molds inbound from NG and one from Aviation for 100. So it's exciting to see more new molds. Hopefully NG comes out of hibernation. We'll see what happens. But for right now, currently sitting idle, if you will. I'll grab these two real quick. On the top, we have an American Airlines Airbus A321 with sharklets arriving in from Chicago O'Hare, and he'll take it over to Los Angeles. And on the bottom, we have a UPS Airbus A300 freighter. This guy is currently arriving in from Denver, and he'll take it over to Fargo. Alrighty, sorry about the poor lighting, but here's the Delta section. We do have some nice elements over here as usual. There on top, we have the A220-300. These have been coming in a lot, substituting a lot. This guy is currently arriving in from Detroit, and he'll take it over to Salt Lake City. That Salt Lake City night flight is usually 321, but there has been a few how about A220-300s that have made it in, so really nice to see that. On the bottom, we have, or in the middle, I should say, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A220-100 arriving in from New York LaGuardia, and he's going to make a straight turn back out there. And then on the bottom side, we have an Delta Airlines Airbus A321 arriving in from Los Angeles, and he'll take it over to Atlanta or Citrus Aviation's airport. On the top, we have the Frontier Airlines Airbus A320neo. We'll say this guy's coming in from Denver, and he'll take it over to. They still have quite a few routes. We'll say Orlando for him. And then here is our trio of Spirit Airlines Airbus A320 Neos. Stack definitely paid off. They're looking really sharp right here. I definitely want to include all three because of why not. They're going to be awesome, man. They're really going to be workhorses for a long time, and I'm really glad that GJ decided to do one. They look great. Honestly, I'm very pleased with them. So I'm just going to send them on a variety of routes just to have fun with it. But we'll have nice mix and match now that we have three of these to utilize, if you will. All right, let's start with that top one. This guy's currently arriving in from Tampa, and he'll take it over to Cleveland. In the middle, we have another one arriving in from Detroit, take it over to Orlando. Then on the bottom, we have the final one arriving in from Atlanta, and he'll take it out to Los Angeles. Then on the bottom, we have my small representation of American Eagle's large 5 to 7 gate CRJ 700 ops out of the latter half of the E-Concourse. Here's the CRJ 700. We'll say that he's operating at SkyWest as usual. Let's take a look. We'll say this guy's coming in from Louisville, and he'll take it all the way out to Bakersfield. And here's our Terminal E satellite. There were some CRJ 700s over here. I may represent that, but it was mainly 145s. I would not mind getting a few more of them if I could find them, but obviously very hard to find. The 700, 145, and 175, of course. All right, let's start with the bottom one. That is obviously representing our November 842 Alpha Echo, or the American Eagle Embraer ERJ-140, the final one in the old paint scheme. I saw this guy do double Manhattan turns, so we'll say that he's doing double Manhattan turns. Why not? I did get to catch one of them flying, or one of the turns flying over my house. It was an iPhone video, but still really cool. I definitely wanted to try my best to get it, but it was really bad lighting, and I didn't have enough time to get the big lens out, so made do with the iPhone video. And then on top, we have another, we'll just say this is a 140 flight. They do some interesting destinations with those 140s nowadays. Not many, but a few. We'll say he's coming in from Del Rio, which is one of the main ones. He'll head out to Santa Angela, which is another one of the main ones. Can't believe that we're next month. We'll probably push one more for May, but times winding down with our 140s. These have been workhorses. I'll be eager to see if they come back at the a second time. I highly doubt it, but they've most certainly been workhorses for Envoy Air over the years, and I'm really glad that they have done their work, man. They've done excellent work. But overall, I'm just very pleased that we had experiences to get to see these. Got to see quite a few in the old livery in June of 2019, so that was awesome. But very proud of these. They are workhorses, that's for sure. Decided to go for a really cool angle in this American Airlines 737-800. This is more of one you'd normally see aviation photographers use, but you know what? Why not? Let's do it. All right, so this one, another GJ. This guy is currently arriving in, let's go with Denver for him, and he'll take it over to Newark. So looking really sharp right there. There's our American Airlines Airbus A321 in the U.S. Airways Heritage Paint Scheme. He's currently getting ready to cross 17. That is our right, which is the main takeoff runway. I did want to say, I apologize. Let's talk about it a little bit more in a little bit, but I was very poor representation of the runways because one of them's closed and all that right now. So I apologize for having awful representations of that. I'm going to try to put a bigger emphasis on that. And I used 17 center the whole time, even though it was literally under renovation for like 2 years. So my apologies about that. Anyways, this guy is currently vacating. He hangs around Charlotte a lot in real life at the U.S. Airways Heritage. So we'll say that he's doing a Charlotte turn. And let's give a massive welcome back to America West. Is right here. We have the American Airlines Airbus A319 in the America West Heritage Paint Scheme. Really glad to see this guy back in service. He's currently arriving in from Tulsa on his flight back, and he is back in the service. This happened early March. He's hung around Dallas for the most part, I think. So we'll say, I want to say he was coming in from Atlanta, so we'll send him out to Atlanta. But really exciting. I definitely snuck out. I think it left at like 7 o'clock one morning. But really glad to see America West back in service. That's awesome. Piedmont is the final guy that remains. Just crazy. I can literally go to Tulsa and just literally get right next to the darn plane, which is absolutely insane. But he's currently sitting at Atlantic, and I'll give you guys an update when he has moved. I'm sure he'll be coming back to service very soon, so we'll keep tabs on it, but very exciting stuff. Alrighty, so on the top we have another American Airlines 737-800. Absolute workhorse out of Dallas, man. There's feels like hundreds of these, and really they are, but just absolutely crazy. We'll say this guy's coming in from Bosman, and he'll take it over to Jacksonville. And then right here we have an American Airlines Airbus A319 with Sharklets. We'll say this guy's coming in from Tulsa. I was on that flight in the morning, so that's awesome. There's finally some sunlight, mostly cloudy, finally starting to get a little better. And he was taking it up to Eagleville after, and they have like 2 dailies, so we'll say he's heading up to Eagleville. I would love to go up there. I think anybody would. And right here we have the Volaris Airlines Airbus A320 Neo. This is the new model like we talked about in the Reno update. And my apologies, I did not mean to post 2 videos on Monday. I forgot to change the scheduling of that American MD-80 skin tag video. I meant to put that for Tuesday, but I accidentally forgot to put it on Tuesday and put it on Monday, so they both went out at the same time. But hey, you guys got a double upload, and it seems like you guys enjoyed it, so that's all I can ask for. So yeah. Anyways, this guy's currently arriving in from Guadalajara. He'll take it over to Mexico City. Like I said, really glad to have this asset now. It's going to be really nice to finally have a more common A320 Neo, and even with the lack of detail, I'm still very pleased with it. So awesome to have, and it's going to be a great element for years to come. Finally, getting a little bit of sunlight in here. Right here, we have the Sun Country Boeing 737-800. Let me adjust the shutter speed, because that is obviously gets really bright really quick. My apologies. Okay, this is a really interesting sequence. There we go. This guy is currently arriving in from Las Vegas, and he'll take it over to Minneapolis. And you guys are seeing the struggle of filming when it's mostly cloudy. And right here we have an American Airlines Boeing 787-8. This guy is currently, we'll say he came in from Lima, Peru on a passenger flight earlier, and he'll take it over to Rome on the cargo flight. So looking nice right there. That was everything besides a couple things, and we'll get those right now. Over there is the hangar, and we have an American 333 in the hangar, and then a 320 or 319 with Sharklets, and a 321 Neo over there. On the other side is a couple 787s, but you know, I forgot to get it when I was over there, so I apologize. So anyways, let's take it over to the interesting sequence, and I'll kind of explain what's going on. Alrighty, so here we go with that interesting sequence I was talking about in the reverse ops. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. I'm going to explain this in depth, so I apologize if it takes a while. I also have my camera on auto, so if the sun does peek out, it will auto adjust. But anyways, here we go. So here's that American Airlines section, the takeoff section, I should say. Looks really interesting. So I'm going to explain to you guys how this typically works. This is typically everything everyday thing at Dallas on the west side. So obviously Dallas has 5 north to south runways. They have the 2 1/8s and 3 6s on the west side of the field, and then they have 3 1/7s. So they have 4 main runways, if you will, I guess, 4 parallel, kind of right next to each other, kind of set in stone, kind of, that are like the same length and everything. You have 1/8 right, 1/8 left, 1/7 right, and 1/7 center, which are kind of like the big 4, I guess. So on the west side, typically operations are pretty good. They land most of the flights on 1/8 right, and most of the flights take off on 1/8 left, as you would expect. 1/8 right and 3/6 left is currently under renovation, so they've had some real struggles over there, and I got to experience one of those. So pretty much during the banks for American, the west side gets very congested. Sometimes on the east side it will, because they always use 1/7 center mainly just for landings. Pretty much dominantly. So 1/7 right's the only takeoff runway. So for an airport the size of Dallas, it is very difficult to get all those aircraft moving during banks and get them all taken off on time. For example, when we were taking off heading out to Phoenix, the bank, no flights were really delayed or anything, just all went out when they did. But it typically happens every day. You'll commonly get anywhere from 8 to 15 airplanes on the holding pad, the big area. AS Aviation took a fantastic photo of it, and I have some as well. You may have seen them, but you just get a whole plethora of aircraft lined up over there. And it's just really, really crazy to see. So I'm kind of representing that over here with these 6 aircraft. Now I know probably wouldn't see a lineup like this with 2 specials, but it does happen sometimes. I did finally get to see Allegheny for the first time over here, and then the Japan 787 was over here. So there was quite a few cool things. So yeah, how it typically works, like I said, is they only have the 1 runway on both sides to use. Therefore, it just gets really congested really quickly. So also on the 1/8 left, they'll land some planes over there too. So that's another reason it takes quite a long time. But anyway, quite a lineup. So let's begin with the lineup. So over there on the left, we have an American Airlines 737-800 in the Reno Air Heritage Paint Scheme. I finally got to see that. It was nighttime, but hey, it counts. I would definitely take a better shot of that and all the others. But anyways, this guy is currently arriving in. We'll say that he was coming in from Boston, so we'll say he's coming in from Boston. And he'll take it over to, I want to say he's going to Chicago here, so we'll send him over to Chicago. Next up, we have an Envoy 145 behind him. He's currently, we'll say that he's like 4th in line to take off. This guy's currently arriving in from Stillwater, Oklahoma, and he'll take it over to, got a question. See, I'm not trying to pull 2019 airport updates with not knowing the routes, but I'm just trying to remember some off the top of my head for different. That ain't going to happen. We'll say he's coming in from Reno, and he'll take it over to Joplin. Joplin will be ending for American on May 31st. SkyWest has a contract up there now that the government enforced, pretty much, long story short, and American does not want to use SkyWest in Joplin. Probably because of the 70-seat planes. During these times, they could only fill 50. So I believe it is an EAS destination. So, or maybe not. I could be wrong on that. But anyways, United Express will be coming in with Denver and Chicago to take over American's Dallas and Chicago. So they'll be taking over that route, which will be interesting, or that destination. So we'll definitely get Joplin in here while we can. American Airlines 319 with the fence tips right there. This guy is currently arriving in from Myrtle Beach, and he'll take it over to Des Moines. And American Airlines A321 with Sharklets right there. Waiting currently for San Diego, California. Arriving in from Portland. That route's also now back on the 321, which is nice, at least a few times a day. American Airlines A319 with Sharklets arriving in from New Orleans, and he'll take it over to Key West. And then finally, we have the American Airlines 777-200ER in the One World paint scheme. This guy's currently arriving in from Honolulu, Hawaii, and he'll take it over to... Alrighty, guys. So the 4th city that I was, my head was refusing to come up with after Honolulu. I was trying to think. I thought there was a 4th city. They flew from Dallas to Hawaii. I was thinking of Lahui. Now, American does not offer nonstop service from Dallas to Lahui, but they do offer nonstop service to the big airports in Hawaii, if you will. Obviously, Honolulu, and then you have Kona and Kahului. So, still pretty impressive for sure.
we may have to do like a Hawaii history lesson video. I mean, I just go in their Flight Radar 24, and it's just a full-on army of aircraft, which is really cool out there. So I definitely like Hawaii. So really, really cool.
Okay, I thought we had a fourth Hawaii destination, but I think I'm dreaming. So we'll say that he's doing a turnout to Honolulu. So looking really sharp right there. Very pleased with that lineup right there and looking really good. And finally, we will end with the UPS cargo ramp. I would really like to get some international cargoes. Just haven't got the opportunity to yet. So we'll begin with this UPS Boeing 747-400. Did get to see one take off, so that was awesome when I was there. He's currently taking it back over to Louisville on that turnaround and then adjusting the focus here. We'll get that UPS Boeing 767-300 freighter arriving in from Denver, and he'll take it over to Louisville. And then we'll end with a very special angle for a very special local fan picture. And right here we have a UPS McDonnell MD-11 freighter. This guy's currently arriving in from Louisville, and he'll be heading back out there. I want to give a huge apology to Alonzo_DFW. He submitted a local fan picture a few weeks ago, or actually all the way back in early February. And unfortunately, I completely forgot to mention in the February update, and then obviously we're here now. So I really apologize, but hopefully this makes up for it with the really cool angle that we have here of the model. And then your picture at Founders was awesome. So excellent work there. Excellent work. So I hope you enjoy your local fan picture being in here and all that fun stuff. Like I said, if you'd like a subscriber out or a local fan picture, please go to the Google Forms link in the description. Make sure you follow all the criteria, which is outlined and explained, and you'll be good to go. But once again, thank you, Alonzo. Hopefully I'm not botching your name for submitting that. And what a special moment this was. So that will do it for today's Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport update. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Lots of great stuff. Dallas was looking really sharp when I was there. They're doing some renovations to C-35 through C-39, and then the expansion as well was also really coming along. With the little 4-gate expansion. I'm not sure what they'll use that for. We'll see, but it was looking really cool. So yeah, that was just crazy. I will definitely go over it in the upcoming videos to come and all that great stuff. I'm really, really excited for Dallas. Emirates is back. It said on the schedule that somebody posted that Qantas was supposed to come back this month. That would be crazy if they did. I think Lufthansa was set to come back at some point, and all those guys, which is really exciting. But nevertheless, I really hope you guys enjoyed this Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport update. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do what you love and love what you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.